Hi, Emmanuel here with T2S, and T2S stands for Transformed to Success. In this video, what I want to do is to show you how you can set up OpenSearch on AWS. I will not go into more details about this, but just to give you an overview of how you can set it up, and we will look at the management console to see how you can leverage on this tool to help you monitor, visualize all of the log files or activities that are actually happening on your in your account and affecting all of the resources that you have in your account. We will jump right into that. But before we do it, what I want to show you is first, it's the article that I wrote on how you can do this, and this is on Medium. So you go to you find me there, and I'll provide the link to the specific article. It has a step-by-step kind of guide, which will allow you to deploy an AWS OpenSearch. What I've done is you can do it in many ways. Like the first way is by using Terraform. So I demo this as part of this article. And then the second way, I think I also talked about the second way, right? Maybe or maybe not. Yeah, the second way is just by using the AWS CLI. So this article is really, really rich. You can use it to do whatever you want to do, right? So the first approach, Terraform, which is an infrastructure as code tool. And then the second way is to use the AWS command line interface. I believe I talked about the third way or the third approach, which is to use CloudFormation. CloudFormation, it's kind of like a similar infrastructure as code tool, just like Terraform, but this one is native to AWS. You can come to this article and play with these three different tools that we have available to deploy OpenSearch. Or you can stick with one, but just learning how to do it on the console, that's okay. Learning how to do it using Terraform, that's even better. So it's even much better when you learn how to use it also using CloudFormation as well as the AWS CLI. That's pretty much what I shared on as part of this article. This is this CloudFormation. For CloudFormation, you have to set up. You create you create a file and then make it be your template. It could be YAML or JSON. And JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notations. Then you have YAML. That's another type of template that you can use. And once you create your template, then you upload your template file into CloudFormation, and then follow the prompts as shown here. You create your own stack, and remember, stack it's a grouping of the different elements to make up one entity or one infrastructure. So you can do that. Also, the other thing that I want to show you at this point, we're gonna in this video, we'll just use Terraform to accomplish our task. To do that, you're gonna have to go to my GitHub repo. where I have my Terraform scripts for OpenSearch. So you go here, and first of all, let me log into my management console here. So I'm gonna log into that. Some of the prerequisites that you may need, I'm gonna go fast here to the beginning of the article, is that first you need to have an account with AWS, of course. You're gonna need to have Terraform installed on your local machine. Make sure that you also have the AWS CLI installed, and there are documentation. It's underlined here, so you just click, and you should this like this one here to install Terraform should take you to this documentation here, and then just follow the steps, and you should be okay. So here, if we go to OpenSearch, I'm gonna go to OpenSearch. The Amazon OpenSearch service. Yeah, click here, and you see here we have nothing here, nothing there yet. So the way OpenSearch service works is that you create a cluster by first creating the domain. So you create a domain, and once your domain has been created, then you go into that domain and you can manage and administer that domain. Once I create the domain, I'll show you what you can do next. For now, let's clone this. So I'm gonna clone this, and the reason why we want to git clone this, meaning we take this remote repository and then we put it on our local machine, is instead of writing all of these here, you see all of these files again, typing all of this. So what you do, you just copy everything and then put it on your local system, and we're gonna do that right now. So let's go here, and also the other thing that I'm using, so I'm gonna remove that, just copy the link to this here. So this is what you need, just copy that. The other thing that I'm using is an application called a Visual Studio Code. So I use this. It allows you to, you can open things here, files. So you look at your system structure, files, directories, whatever you want to view here, you can view it here while you use your terminal to the right here. This is my terminal. See here, it's my terminal. So we're gonna work with this, and what we want to do, we want to stay still in the desktop. On my desktop I have quite a few things here, but I'll create first. I'm gonna create a directory here. I'll call it OpenSearch demo, like that. And then if you ls, it's gonna show up here, and this is where I want to go. So I want to go, and to go there, you just use the cd command, change directories into open search, and that's it. So I ls, this is where I am. If I do pwd to show where I am, this is where I am. Okay, I'll use this command, clear screen, because I want to clear my screen, right? So now this is where I do the git clone. Git clone is to pull a remote repository onto your local machine, but you have to decide where you want to store that repository. So it's done here. It's done, and now that it is done, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ls, and this is the directory, and I'm gonna move into that directory. So if you do see this space, type AWS there, the beginning of this long name, and then you press the tab key on your keyboard. It's gonna pre-fill the rest of the name here, and then press enter. I'm gonna clear. If I ls, you'll see everything here, which is similar to all of the files that we have here. It's an exact copy of everything that we have on our remote repository. So we've done that. If you wanna do that, and you wanna cat like man to see main .tf file to see what we have there. So this is what we have. And then when you get to this point, this is where you're gonna need to change things. Like if you click here to explore, and so here you're gonna either use Vim to edit the variables. This is what you need to change, and this one here. So I'm gonna nano the variables here to see if I can change something. So here you have nothing pretty much to change here. Don't touch this this file here. What you need to touch is the Terraform tfvars file, because this is where we have the variables. We have the values that we want to input into our environment. The first one is the region. Make sure that it's correct, and then decide on the VPC CIDR, because we're gonna create a new VPC. So sometimes they may not want you to create a VPC. Then you will have to tweak to input some of the existing resources into by just configuring your Terraform files here. But in our case, we're gonna create a VPC. We're also gonna create a subnet where we're gonna deploy our infrastructure. This is the name of the OpenSearch domain that we wanna give, and we will use this instance type. We wanna have 2 counts of this. Remember for fault tolerance, as well as also availability, high availability, and then the volume will be 10. We'll use this version here. If you think that this is perfect, because you can change this here we can change it to 45, meaning that this will also be 45, and everything looks okay. So I'm just gonna go save this. And then after doing all of that, the first thing that I need to do is to initialize my working environment. So I'm gonna initialize, and also make sure that you have already configured your AWS CLI, also your local machine to work and communicate with your AWS account. So that's been initialized, and next is to plan and review our deployment. It may take some time here. What we're gonna do here, we'll be creating a VPC with this. It's gonna be created with this name here. We'll call it T2S VPC dev. The other thing that we'll create is gonna be a subnet, T2S subnet dev. Of course, we'll also have to create a security group with that name. Here's our domain, that we will name T2S-opensearch. I don't think that's the name that we wanted to give it. So it's gonna be this name here, T2S Academy Tech. That domain will reside in the newly created VPC once we run this these configuration files. So in total, 4 resources will be created, and sometimes you can save this plan onto a file, which will not do today by usually we use this dash out option to do that. I'll clear my screen, then I'll go ahead and apply. When you use this command, it's to say go ahead and deploy this infrastructure. I run the command. It's gonna ask me to confirm. Type yes. To avoid confirming by typing in yes, you can just say Terraform apply, and you use the flag --auto--approve. So it's gonna say yes for you and go straight to the deployment of your infrastructure. Now here we have creation complete after 2 seconds. So the VPC has been created. The subnet has been created. The security group, which will be attached to our resource here, to the OpenSearch resource, is also created. Now we're just waiting on this one to be completely created, the domain. So we're waiting on the domain, and while we do that, let's go to our console here, refresh, and you see here at T2S dev, and it's saying it's in the process of creating. Here you have like the status here. So if you click on the domain name, you're gonna see more details here. You come down, you have the cluster configuration, you have the security configuration that you can also attach to an entity that you want to access this domain here. So a little bit about OpenSearch. OpenSearch, it's as I said, it's a native tool to AWS, which is very similar to, it's replacing the Elasticsearch that AWS was using before, but it's very similar to ELK. In one of my previous videos I've talked about the ELK, how to install it. Didn't go into depth on how to use it, but it stands for Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. It's doing kind of like OpenSearch is doing also the same thing. So it's going to ingest the data, process the data the way you want it to process that data, and then visualize the data that you have ingested and processed. AWS has developed this one, created this one service, OpenSearch, and that's what it does. You see here there's Kibana, meaning it's gonna also give you that dashboard, which will allow you to visualize the data the way you want to see the data. So, or the way you want to share your data with your stakeholders or customers or even your team members. So that's it. And then it's going to take time. You see here 24%. If you click the progress or progress status, this is what you see. And for that reason, I'm gonna, because it's at 25, I can't just say, okay, stay here with me and hang out with me, which I would probably appreciate, but I'm gonna just pause the video and come back when it's 100%. Well, it took about, to reach 100%, it took about close to 30 minutes, just probably a little bit over 30 minutes. So this is what you see as your final kind of like output. It has to reach 100%, meaning that it's been initialized, validated, and then it created a new environment, provisioned the new nodes. Remember, we talked about two based on our Terraform configuration. The last thing that it does, it's gonna configure the traffic here, the traffic routing on the new nodes that you have decided to set up. I'm gonna click on close here. As you can tell, you can see here, your OpenSearch domain is now active. Here you have, this is the dashboard. So you have every piece of information about your domain. You have the name, you have the version here, set it up. We set it up to be 1.0, but there is an upgrade available. You can click and follow the steps to upgrade to the latest. And here you have the URL, meaning that you can allow people to access the dashboard from the local machine. So let's say you have a team that will be taking care of, will be administering the OpenSearch service, that you can do the same there. Also, you have the domain endpoint here, which allows access to your domain using this link. You have security configuration. You can also set this depending on what are the requirements from your company. And to do that, you just click edit here. The cluster health, here it says green, meaning that it's healthy. And these are the number, this is the number of our nodes. Here you have your overall health of your cluster. You have your master instance here, connection status. It tells you that it's in perfect health. So everything is in green to say that to mean that everything is set up okay. So if you go back to your domain here, I'm gonna get out of that. Click here. So now you have the different things that you can do on you can add to your domain. You go to the dashboard here. I'm gonna X out of that. So you go to your dashboard. You can see the different domains that you have. Let's say you have more than one, then you should have probably 3 or 4, depending on the requirements of your company. You go down here to reserved instances. You can add reserved instances that you want to lease. Packages, this is where you import your packages as well as plugins. You can, that's the beauty of this tool. So you can add the different plugins which will allow you to interface or interact with different applications. And here's the list here. It's about 2 pages here that you can take advantage of. And now these are the VPC endpoints. You can create an endpoint here if you want, and also depending on your requirements. And here you can go on and on to just manage your service the way you want it to be. The next section here, you have ingestion here. So you see here, this is where you decide what kind of data that you want to ingest and put into your OpenSearch here. You can do that by creating a pipeline. So if you click pipeline, create a pipeline. So you're gonna decide on the ingestion pipeline blueprint, but we have several here that you can use, or you can create a blank one. So let's say you have CloudTrail logs. CloudTrail, it's a service that keeps track of every activity on your account. Okay, so you can, for instance, add this as a source of your data. So you can ingest logs from this. You can ingest logs from Apache. You can ingest logs from anything like Apache Kafka, S3 logs. So you see, so you can make this as your one place to go to for all of your activities that you have on your account. And then this will allow you to visualize everything that you do. Like the VPC flog logs, you can also do the same here. So let's say I click that and use it as a blueprint. So I will select that blueprint. It's a blueprint. I want to use it as my pipeline to ingest the data. So here you're gonna just follow the steps, give it a name. You're gonna decide on the capacity here, minimum capacity and maximum capacity. You will have to decide here on some configuration here to do. So it's gonna be, I mean, it's just so much that you can do with this service. I'll let you get back to it and just play with it. And what I'm gonna do, I'll take you back to my Visual Studio Code, my command line here. So we've done everything okay here, and you see here, this is our endpoint here. I'm gonna clear my screen, and what I want to do is clean up. You know, after you have played with your infrastructure, now it's time to clean it up. I'm gonna just do Terraform destroy, and I'll do the auto approve. So I'm gonna add that here. It's gonna go straight to just delete everything without asking me for an input, like to say yes or no, something like that. And here you see 4 to destroy. Those are the 4 resources that we created. We created a VPC, we created a subnet where to deploy our OpenSearch service. We created a domain and also a security group. So we're gonna delete all 4 of them. So you do this, wait until when it says 4 deleted, then go back to your management console and validate the destruction of your entire infrastructure, the infrastructure at least that you wanted to destroy. And this is pretty much the end of this demo, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.